everybody. Welcome to this late night edition, Wednesday night, January 25th, 2023, of The Wise Up Show. And I'm your host, Ralph Mucci. I've never done a live this late. It's usually at 7 o'clock on a Sunday, and it's usually in the morning. But I decided to jump on tonight and come on and just talk about a couple of things in the way of The Wise Up Show and where is the Wise Up Show going and what's going to happen to the Wise Up Show and what's the future hold for the Wise Up Show. There's a lot of questions that I have, a lot of questions that I ask myself. And what about my listeners? Right now, as it stands, I've been doing this show now. It's going to be 5 months in a couple of weeks. And so far, I haven't really hit any hurdles. I mean, everything has been pretty smooth, going. But what's to say that that's going to change? Hello, Arms. How are you, buddy? Good evening. Mike F. Yes, I'm doing a late show tonight. But who's to say what's going to happen? Anything can happen in the course of doing a show or having a show. I could plan some things out, what I'd like to do into the future with the show. The show is growing with listeners, but then again, listeners, that's not my main concern. My main concern is, I guess, putting out a good show, putting out good content, having topics every now and then, having fun, having a relaxed atmosphere. And sometimes, you're going to get some things that happen. Trolls are going to come in and people are going to, try and disrupt things. But that's to be expected. So I expect that. But in terms of the future, like what's going to happen to the Wise Up Show? Well, I got them some things planned, and which I'm going to incorporate into the show. And Wine Guild, how are you? Wine Guild, how are you? Gina, how are you? Gee, I didn't really expect anybody to come on. I was going to do a live show and then just let it go and upload. But like I said, I've never done a show this late. But I had some things on my mind, and I wanted to talk about. I think I may incorporate some of my disco shows into actually the Wise Up Show with certain segments. I don't know how I'm going to work that out yet, but I think I'm going to incorporate some of the disco shows into the actual Wise Up Show with segments, with music and backgrounds and things like that. And then, of course, cover some topics. The topics that I want to cover will probably be topics of importance, topics of everyday things that are happening in current events. Maybe I'll do some news. I don't know. I haven't decided. I have to see which way it goes. I'm always open for suggestions from my listeners, so I don't have a closed mind. I'm always open for suggestions, and let me just check the chat out real quick. Let me see who's here and say hello to everybody. Hi, Nancy. How are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Brooklyn guy, Vinny. How are you, buddy? Thank you so much for promoting me in the beginning of this show. You're a funny guy, man. I know that Tommy is fast asleep right now, probably, and Tindu is probably fast asleep, and they had a rough day. Actually, I had a rough day too. Thank you, Vinny. I appreciate it. I really do. I really do appreciate it. It's very nice of you. But those are the things that are. You're going to sleep soon, Wine Guild? Yeah, I know. I think you're sleeping half the day anyway. By the way, when is your show, Anthony? I forgot. Is it tomorrow? It's tomorrow night, right? Tomorrow night at 7? I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow night at 7, right? And Anthony, why are you taking? Let me ask you a question. Why were you taking videos of snow? What do you think? People never saw snow before? He's taking videos of him driving in his car in the snow. Like nobody's ever seen snow before. Like it's just the first. Well, it is the first snowfall, really, of the season. I was hoping that we got a blizzard. To be honest with you, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Okay, everybody. Anthony's having a show tomorrow, the Wine Guild, at 7 p.m. So please tune in to him if you have time and you're free. He gives a great show. You guys know that. So let me tell you something. I've been doing a lot of experimenting the last 2 days. I know my channel has been very crazy. A lot of you have probably been seeing the same videos, the same shorts constantly. Well, I've been putting them up, taking them down, and putting them up, taking them down, doing them at different times, doing with them with different titles, and experimenting with the shorts. And so far, they're very successful. I acquired 40 listeners in one day. Now, whether they stay with me or not, that's another story. You know, that's the most important thing. Well, one of the things that's important is acquiring the listeners. The other thing is, will they stay with you? They may decide that they don't care for my show, and it's not the show that they want, which is to be expected. When you're a host of a show, you have to expect that not everybody's going to like your show. That's reality. So, I just got to hope for the best, but the testing that I've done has been very successful, and it's. I will tell you that if you're a content creator and if you're a host and you're going to put a short up, you have to make it 10 seconds long. Really, not longer than 10 seconds. The title is very, very important. The title has to be one of a catchy title, and the third thing is the time that you put it up. That's very important. When it's the heaviest traffic flow on YouTube, is very important. So that's why I've been putting them up at different times. And God, I must have put that deer short up at least 7, 8 times. And believe it or not, in a day, it got 5,000 views on the deer, me feeding the deer. So, but on the other hand, too, people may think that my channel is geared toward animals or deers, and they may come into my show and see that it's nothing to do with that. So I might lose them. So that's a chance that you take. Yes, Gina, that's something that I make. The cabbage and the meatballs is something that I made. That's me. The cabbage video, I don't know. I think that got, I don't know, over 2,000 views. The biggest short so far is the deer. I got 5,000 views on that, and 30, no, 30. Well, let me put it this way. Yesterday at around 10 o'clock, I had 191 listeners. Then Tommy made a few moves, and he got me up to 200. So between the 200 and today, it is now up. I'm now up to 242. So do the math. How many listeners that is in one day? But then again, the most important thing, and I was discussing this with Tommy, I'm saying, yeah, that's great. I said, but the listeners have to stay with you. That's the whole thing. So you got two important things that have to happen. One, get the listeners, and then two, hope that the listeners do stay with you. So it's it's testing. It's a gamble. I mean, you don't know how it's going to go. You have to go, Anthony. It goes according to the optimum time to post a short goes according to your channel and your content in YouTube Studio. There's a graph. There's graphs there that show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the days of the week, and you have to look at the dark purple lines, and it tells you the time when you see the dark purple lines, and that tells you when the most viewers are on YouTube. That's what you go by. So that's what I did. And yesterday was a big hit uh, for the deer. Yesterday was a big hit for the deer. 5,000 views in one day. That's a lot. That's the most I ever had. And all those listeners in one day. Hi, Maureen. So that's a lot. So it is working. And what did I do? How did I come about this? Well, I tell you, I went to YouTube and I keyed in um, how to gain subscribers, and what came up was how to gain 1,000 subscribers in X amount of time, or how to gain subscribers. Follow these tips. So I went into those different instructional videos, and I got a little piece of each one of them and incorporated into what I'm doing. And well, obviously it's successful because I got 5,000 views in one day and picked up the what is it, 30, 40 listeners. So obviously it worked, right? Now I put up a couple shorts tonight, and it wasn't so successful at kind of like the same time. So maybe people are sick of seeing the deer video. I don't know. But anyway, it worked on two. Was it yesterday? Wait, yesterday was Wednesday. No, yesterday was Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. So then you have to look at the days too to see when the heaviest traffic is, and of course the time, and it tells you. So that's a guideline. Hey Gianni, how are you doing, buddy? Evan, how are you? Carol, how are you? God, I didn't expect I didn't expect anybody to come in, but the test, proved to be successful. But anyway, getting back to the Wise Up Show. So what does the future hold for the Wise Up Show? Nobody can answer that. I can't answer that myself. I can only take steps and preparations on what I want to do and see if they work. Continue doing what I'm doing. The personality that I have, don't change your personality, don't change nothing, which seems to be okay. Obviously, you guys, or else you wouldn't come back, right? This is late night coffee for me. Yanks, how are you, buddy? How are you? Where's your buddy Todd Father? He's working, right? Or making believe he's working. So I really can't answer that. Um, I can't answer that question myself. Are you going to answer it for me? But what does the future hold? Obviously not. But I'm going to continue on the path. And listen, if I don't get any listeners, I'm happy. I don't have that goal. I got to get 1,000 listeners, and I got to monetize. Maybe down the road, if that happens, I'll change my mind. I changed my mind about the analytics because a couple of months ago I said, stick the analytics up your ass because you'll end up at the cemetery. And here I am eating my words now. And now that's a classic video that I made. So hi JJ, how are you, hon? So I really don't know. I'm going to continue on the path that I'm doing. I may incorporate some of my disco show into the Wise Up Show in segments, because my show, like if I have a topic and the topic is important, the topic starts at the beginning of the show. The very beginning, you go into the topic, you cover the topic, and then you move on to another segment. Because my shows are in segments when I do them sometimes. Well, most of the time anyway. And, I don't want to have a show where the topic is the whole show. I just don't, that's not the format that I have or I want to have. If I'm going to have a topic, you cover the topic immediately in the show, whatever that topic is, and then you move on to something else. Maybe I'll move on to a disco segment of the show. I don't know yet. I have to see what works. You don't know unless you experiment. That's the only way you're going to find out. And then you have your listeners to tell you, well, Ralph, that sucks. Don't do it no more. So I'm depending on my listeners to tell me. because I see things one way and my listeners may see things another way. Like my listeners, some of them like my car lives. I'm not crazy about the car lives because this is what I'm used to. This is my environment. So listen, I dropped the link if anybody wants to come on. You're more than welcome to come on. I just want to make sure I got said hello to everybody in the parlor, and I think I did. I think I did. Phil Blunt. Phil, I don't think I've ever seen you in my show, Phil. Are you new? And if you are, welcome. Because I don't recognize you ever coming into my show. But that's okay. You're welcome. We have a great. I call the chat the parlor because it's like you're in my living room. But you're welcome. You know, you're welcome to stay. Anthony, are you still with me? Are you still here, Ant, or did you go to? Are you going to sleep? Well, it's really not that late. Oh, you're fairly new. That's fine. That's fine, Phil. You're more than welcome. You're welcome. Everybody, welcome Phil. He's fairly new, and you'll find, Phil, that the people that are in my parlor, I call the chat the parlor, are very nice. They're very respectful, very hospitable. It's a very calm. Well, it's a. I shouldn't say really calm because a lot of times you know, we get comical, so to speak. Not drama, comical. We get comical when I have the other content creators come on. Oh, God, it's okay, Aunt, you're still here. Yeah, it's interesting. You don't know. You have to experiment. You see, and I said this morning in my morning live. I have an analytical mind. You know, I analyze things for like 27 to 30 years, so I had that ingrained in me. So, you know, experimenting and trying new things and being inquisitive is something that I get into. And I really didn't want to get into the analytics of YouTube because I knew that once I started to get into the analytics, I was going to get heavy into them, having an analytical mind. And I just, and for doing that so long in my career, I just didn't want to get into it. Now I'm finding myself, and I'm starting to get into it. And now I'm starting to do testing. It's kind of like a marketing test is what it is, really. You're doing marketing testing, on your channel to see what works because you don't know what's going to work and what's not going to work unless you experiment and try it, test it, and then you have the feedback from your listeners to tell you, well, Ralph, I don't like that. That sucks. That's no good. I mean, you could be more tactful than that, but you follow what I'm saying? You depend on your listeners because without your listeners, you don't have a show, right? And you want to make your listeners happy. You want them to come back, you know, if especially if they like your personality. And like I always say, you don't have to have any content because you can get good content anywhere on the internet. The personality, you, we're hunting. Wait a minute, hold on a second. JJ is saying you suggested a great content above. We're hunting Burmese pythons in the Everglades. Are you serious? JJ, are you serious with that? What is Swamp People? Is that a show? You better watch out an anaconda don't get you. Are you telling me to do a show? Okay. JJ, stop. You want me to go with you to go look for a Burmese python and do a show on that? You're crazy. Oh my God. Yeah, well, listen, I got some bull busters for listeners. That's one thing I've learned. But it's all in fun. It's all good. You gotta tease one another and you gotta laugh. You think you can't be serious all the time. You know what I'm saying? Life is too short, so you gotta have some comedy. You know what I'm saying? And you do things on your show that are funny, and you don't even realize you do them. That you don't even realize they're funny till after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Uh, you guys are crazy. You ever see the size of anacondas? Because you're speaking of Burmese pythons. You ever see the size of anacondas? I mean, they're huge. Did you ever see one swallow a whole pig? I have. They'll swallow you too. So I don't think I want to go hunting for Burmese pythons. Snakes, I'm not too crazy about, huh? Although I know a couple of snakes. If you get that, what I'm saying. And don't forget to get your okay, Anthony. I'm going to try to make your show tomorrow because I'll be working tomorrow. We're really. Oh, this beard is itching me like crazy. Um, I'm working tomorrow, so and I'm working late, so I'll listen. I'll be listening to your show. I won't be able to get wine, but I'll be listening. And then, Anthony, I watched this. I watched the short that you put up on wine with in ice cubes. And then you're putting it in a frying pan. I mean, to cook with that wine, you could put wine in ice cubes and freeze it, and then take them out at a later date, and then put them in a frying pan, and that won't spoil the wine that you're cooking with. You say no. Okay, I believe you. So I found that to be very interesting. Understand? Yeah. Just point and shoot. Yeah, JJ. I'm not going to. JJ, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go hunting for no Burmese pythons. I'm not really too fond of snakes. You know. So anyway, what that's what's in store for the Wise Up Show. And the only way I'm going to find out is if I try different things and experiment. Uh, and that's the only way you're going to find out things if they work or not. No, Arms. I never cooked with wine. Never. No, that's one thing I never did. I never cooked with wine. I cooked with balsamic vinegar, but no, I guess that's close to wine, but never with wine. Oh, definitely, Gina. We could all use more laughs. Well, that's one of the, I don't know how you would measure success on YouTube, if you even want to call it success. Some people would say, oh, I made it to 1,000 listeners. Maybe that's success to them. Or, oh, I made it to be monetized. Maybe that's the way that they view success. The way I view success, I guess, for my channel as a host, would be probably uh, to make my listeners walk away learning a little something sometimes when I have a topic, and that won't happen all the time. And just to come in and have a good time and socialize and have a couple of laughs and to get away and escape, from reality, so to speak. Because right now things are not that great. We all know that. You know, everybody's feeling it financially. Uh, Prices have gone up off the wall. You can't even, I mean, eggs are, there's a shortage of eggs. I was looking into buying some chickens and keeping them here. No, I'm only kidding. Wasn't a bad idea though. I mean, hey, eggs are what, $9, $10? Come on. Uh, who has? Wait a minute, hold on a second. I just want to read real quick. I just want to. I just want to grasp. I just want to grasp what you guys are saying. That's good, Phil. That's good. A comedy show is great. Yeah, I feel I'm only serious when I have to be serious. There's a time and a place to be serious. So I'm only serious when I really have to be. But most of the time, mostly all day long, I joke around and kid around and bust people and bust my listeners and some of the content creators. So, laughter is very good. It's a very good stress reliever. So that's a good thing that you've done. Do you have a channel? Oh, you have a channel. Do you have a channel, Phil? If you have a channel, somebody could drop your link in my show. I would subscribe to it. I'd be curious, how you do it. Nancy's saying that I'm an animal whisperer. Well, did you see my video where I fed the deer? She was sweet. She wasn't afraid of me. She came up to me and she ate. I wish I had a banana because they love bananas, but at that time I just happened to be in my car. I saw her and, she was grazing in the grass. That's a song, by the way, isn't it? Grazing in the grass. She was grazing in the grass, and I got out of my car and I had a bag of Frito Lays. So I gave her a Frito Lay. She liked it. She ate it. She wasn't afraid of me. And, with one hand with the camera and the other hand feeding her, she took it. And then I went my merry way. Hi, Mama Four Boys. How are you, hon? What, Phil? Phil, Is your show on YouTube? Oh, it's got to be on YouTube. But you're saying it's a different account, though, right? If the sun shut off like a light switch, we wouldn't know for 7 minutes. That's how long it takes the light to travel. Uh, Let me reread that again. If the sun shut off like a light switch, we wouldn't know for 7 minutes. That's how long it takes light to travel. Okay. Do you also know that the stars that you see above in the sky at night are not really there? You're seeing the light from them that happened, I forgot how many years ago it is. So when you look up at the sky and you see the stars, those stars are really, you're seeing them the way they were. I think I forgot how many years ago it is. I don't know if you knew that. Okay, Phil. Yeah, switch to that account. I'd like to get your link. I'd like to check your channel out. Like I said, if anybody wants to come on, you're more than welcome. I dropped the link in the show. Um, Now, Evan, are you telling me that the light from the stars, it ranges from 8.8 billion or 4.5 billion? I don't. I'm not sure about that length of time, but you could be right. I'm gonna look it up as a matter of fact. But I do know that the light that you see tonight, if you're looking up at the stars, it's not. That's light that happened. That those stars are happened whatever amount of time it was. The stupid comedy show. Okay, this is Phil's channel. Okay. So the stupid comedy show is Phil Blunt's show. So if somebody can drop the link in there for Phil, I appreciate it. Yeah, Vinny has the show, The Brooklyn Guy. So you might want to check his show out too, Phil. Seven years, Vinny? Is it 7 years? I think you're right. I think you're pretty right. So you imagine that. Nobody ever thinks about that, right? Nobody ever thinks about that. You look at the stars at night, you say, "Oh, that's happening now." No, it's a light that happened 7 years ago. Those stars may not even be in existence anymore. You follow what I'm saying? They may not even be in existence. Tommy's live now? Tommy's live now at 10 o'clock at night? No, that can't be. Are you serious? Are you Arms? Are you serious? Tommy's on live now? But if he's on live now, then he probably has got tomorrow off. If he's live now, I didn't see any notifications. I didn't get any notifications on him doing the show. Let me just check. Hold on a second, guys. Let me just see something real quick. What the hell is he doing on now? Let me see. Let's see if he's on now. Let me see. Oh my God, I can't believe he is on live now. Tommy Stiggs is live. Bedtime chat. Tommy, what the hell you doing, huh? Oh, Dindo's in his show. Okay, I see. He never does this. What the hell? I'm gonna kick his ass. Let me tell you. All right, guys. Hey, what are you gonna do? That's one thing we should talk about is consideration for your fellow content creators. If you know they're going to do a show, don't do a show and do it around them. I don't know about that though. I don't know how that would be. You know, I don't know. But I want to tell you one thing. It's very, very unusual for him to do a show right now. He never does a show. He's never done a show this late. You know, I'm kind of annoyed a little bit, to be honest with you. I don't mind my saying. But anyway, nothing I can do about that. So let me go back to me and see me. Okay. So Vinny, you've been going in and out of my show and his show, huh? And Dindu is on his show. So okay, the stupid comedy channel. Okay. So guys, subscribe to the stupid comedy show, and wait a minute, hold on a second. I just got to check the chat. Okay. I'll check it out. I'll check your channel out. Phil, I'll check it out. Yeah, Bella, I know. I got to tell you, Tommy never has a show at 10 o'clock at night. I think it's very strange that he's doing a show now. And I've never done a show this time either. So I'm kind of annoyed, to be honest with you. And I don't mind my saying it. Because there's no notification put up. You know, I think there should be consideration for other content creators if they're doing a show. To do a show after their show is done or to do a show before. That's one thing I'm going to bring up, and I can't tell another content creator what to do. You know, unfortunately. But like I said, you know, I've never come on this time. I usually have my Sunday show at 7 o'clock, and then the morning car lives. Okay, JJ, well, be more specific than that. You told me we need to kick things up, but I don't listen. So tell me what you mean by that, and what did you tell me that I didn't listen to? Okay. So now I'll take that as construct. Anything that you say to me is, I don't get offended. I never get offended. I take it as constructive criticism. Like today in my show this morning, I said about jealous people, jealous content creators. If they're successful, if their show is successful, don't be jealous of them. Because first of all, that's not gonna accomplish anything. What you should do is you should look at that content creator and see what he or she is doing that's making them successful. And then again, it depends on what you consider to be successful, and that can be applied off of YouTube as well. If somebody is successful, they have to be doing something right, correct? So you want to look at that person rather than be jealous of them and say, okay, what are they doing that's making them successful? Look and see what they did or what they are doing and see if you can implement some of the things that they have done into what you want to do. Now that may not always apply to you all the time, but sometimes it can. And you may not be able to use everything that they've done, but you may be able to use some of the things. So that's a start. So you have to look at people that are successful and say, well, how did they get that way? They must be doing something right. And try to follow what they've done rather than be jealous. Because jealousy is not going to get you anywhere. It's a roadblock. Yeah, all right, JJ. I'll just pick up my studio and go right down to the stoop. So you see what I'm saying? Because jealousy is not going to get you anywhere at all. It's going to be a roadblock for you, and you're not going to accomplish anything. You're only going to be miserable. But that could be applied to anything in life, not just on YouTube. You know, when people are successful, and like I said, it depends on what you consider to be successful on YouTube. You know, like I said earlier, maybe it's gaining 1,000 subscribers. Maybe it's being able to monetize. You know, everybody looks at everything differently. You know, for me, listen, if I never got another listener tomorrow, I would be happy because I'm happy with the listeners that I have now. You know, it's just a number. It's the people that count. You know, you guys came in as a number. Okay, let's say JJ's number 23 and Gina's number 35. You came in as a number, but now you're a person who has a personality. Okay, you're not a number. So that's the way I look at it. You know, so I have 242 listeners who have numbers but have a personality. The number's not coming into my show. You are coming into my show. You and your personality. You understand what I'm saying? I'm being a little analytical now. But is Gerard here? Did I miss? He must have just. Joey Melrose, how are you, buddy? Joey, I don't think you've ever been to my show, or maybe you have. I don't. If you have, it's been a long time. But you're welcome, buddy. You're welcome all the time. Gerard, how are you? Albanian Syndicate. Okay, you guys are coming in. Do you have two channels? I was already subscribed to Ralph. Yes, I do, Joe. I have two channels. I have Ralph Mucci, the music channel, and I have this, the Wise Up Show. And I also do a disco show on my music channel, but I'm thinking about incorporating some of that disco show into the Wise Up Show in a segment because I do my show in segments. It's just a thought, it's an idea, and if I do it, it's going to be an experiment. And my listeners will tell me, Ralph, don't do that, it sucks or whatever. But yeah, I do have two channels. I don't want. Sometimes it can be confusing. No, Vinny. No, are you doing a show? Vin, are you doing a show tonight? Vinny, you're crazy. I mean, you're like Boss Ladybird that does shows at all hours. You if you're doing a show tonight, you're Vinny. I tell you this, you're more than happy to use any of my songs. Vin, okay? And that goes for anybody else. My songs are not copyrighted. I don't care if you use my songs. That's what they're there for. Use them, enjoy them. I'm not a singer, Joey. I just sing. I'm not a singer. I'm going into the studio in 2 weeks to do Billy Joel's Hey Girl. Great song that he did in 2 weeks, providing that they saved the space for me, because I always have an issue with them. They book me and then they say, "Oh, Ralph, you can't do it because they got this one coming in." They got okay. So yeah, Vinny, are you doing a show tonight or are you talking about another time? Are you doing a show tonight, Vinny? Testing 1, 2, 3, Vinny. All right, you're running. Okay, I don't know where you're running to. Maybe you're running off to do your show. I don't know. Everybody's running. So where was I? Excuse me. So that's it. I mean, I'll depend on my listeners to help me out and tell me. You know, and the only way you can really find things out is by trial and error. If you want to do that, if you want to do that, because I'm always looking for new things, and investigating things and things of that nature. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to do my live car shows anymore. I mentioned this a couple times. My schedule is going to be changing. Um, so I'm not really sure about that yet at this point. I know some of you guys like that. Some of you guys may not like that. Did Vinny leave? Vinny has left the building. Vinny has left the studio. Vinny has left the studio, I think. Yeah. Okay. All right. Did you dropped the link, right? You dropped the link for I'm going to check it out. All right, I got how many? Okay, I got 9. No. I have how many people in the chat here? I have 12 people. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like I really didn't expect I know, Joey. He goes on at different. I mean, he's even done a show 11 o'clock. Well, Angel Gotti, God, I mean, I said to Angel the other night, I said, "How do you do it, Angel?" She says it's just just talking and talking and talking, because she does it for 3, 4 hours, and I just said, how do you do it? And so does the stand up guy sometimes. And Dean's been doing a couple hours, you know. But Angel and stand up guy, they do long shows. Angel's shows are long. And she just told me, she just said that you start talking, you get into the conversation. If it's a good conversation, you just go on with it. But I can't do a show that long. I think the most that I've done a show is what, 2.5 hours. But she's right though. When you get into a good conversation with your listeners and you have a good show, the time does fly by quickly. It does. It does. So I can understand what she's saying. And she's got the gift of gab too, Angel. She's got the gift of gab too. And her shows lately have been pretty good. Pretty good. The other night she was talking about old school songs, which was an interesting topic. You know, I found it to be very interesting. So, Carol, I know, because you're there. You're right there with her. I always see you there. How do you go to sleep and got to go to work the next morning, Carol? You're all over the place. I see you all over. Excuse me. 7 hours, unbelievable. Hey, I don't want to. I don't want to make a. I could say something that women have the gift of gab, but that would be stereotyping, right? Because not all women are like that. Excuse me, but 7 hours is a long time. I could never do a show that long. I'd be falling asleep. I'd be falling asleep in front of the camera. Yeah, Gerard, you're absolutely right. You need a guest. You need a guest co-host to help you take over, because sometimes she does go off. You know, I I watched all the channels on my big. I think I mentioned this. I watched all the channels on my large screen TV on the couch, and I fall asleep. When I wake up, sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30, Angel is still on. Angel is still on. So I go to sleep with her. That didn't sound right. Let me rephrase that. I doze off watching her show and wake up to her show. And then sometimes I'll wake up and Dindo will be playing. And I didn't even set that up for Dindo to be playing. Or Tommy Stiggs will be playing. You know, I can't figure that out. But that happens a lot. I don't know how you do it, Carol, honey. I do not know how you do it, because you're on there late with her. You're on there late with her. And Gerard, excuse me, I do agree with you. You need a co-host. If you're gonna do, God, excuse me, if you're gonna do a long show, you do need a co-host to take over. You know, like Angel show and like stand up guy show with the Sons of Italy. You know, you need a co-host if you're gonna do a long show. I can't do that. I mean, I'd be falling asleep. Put Gerard in the passenger seat, yeah. Carol, I gotta tell you something. I don't know how you do it, hon. I don't know how you do it. Are you kidding me, Carol? Really? So Angel will go off and then MRE will go on? I didn't know that. Yeah, I know, Anthony. Anthony, can I tell you something? I never do a show this late. Everybody knows that. I've never done a show at 9:30 at night. My show's either 7 o'clock or I do the car lives. I just decided to come on and talk about the where the Wise Up show is going. I am totally shocked that Tommy is doing a show at this hour. Totally. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of annoyed, and I don't mind saying it. I don't mind saying it because we have to talk about that. We got to talk about other content creators being considerate of other content creators, because I saw no notification from him. But everybody, it's their prerogative in which show they want to go into. But I find that very strange that he's doing a show at 10 o'clock at night and calling it the matinee, whatever. Listen, if I got something on my mind, I say it. That's the way I am. I don't pull any punches. You know, I don't sugarcoat anything. If something's bothering me, I come right out and say it, whether it's on YouTube, on my live show, or on the street. That's just the way I am. I'm a straight shooter. You know, I put a notification up a half. I put a notification up a half hour before I did the show, because it was a last minute thing. Because I went. You want to hear what I did? I went to see. I went to see if anybody else was having a show, and nobody was having a show. Not stand up guy, not Angel Gotti, not Vinny, nobody, not Dindu, nobody. So I said, okay, nobody's having a show. I'm going to do a show. Boom, here I am. So what can I tell you? I can't tell another content creator what to do. It's their show, their prerogative, But I checked first, and there was no one was having a show. Nobody. that I'm subscribed to anyway. That I'm subscribed to. So, and I said, well, okay, well then I'll go on at 9:30. Because I didn't want to conflict with anybody. Yeah, Bella, I know Albanian. I know. It's kind of annoying. All right, Bella, you're right. I where I come from, where I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. Okay. Now, let me tell you something. I'm a very nice guy. I treat everybody with respect. I'm always nice, but I'm not a pushover. I say exactly what's on my mind, and sometimes I'm not so tactful. I try to be tactful all the time, but sometimes I'm not tactful. And when I'm annoyed with something and something bothers me, I I don't pull any punches. I don't sugarcoat anything. The way I am now, right now, this minute, is the way I am off of YouTube. So um, I tell it like it is. I don't beat around the bush. I don't beat around the bush. Like it's just me. And I'm not trying to be a tough guy or a hard guy. I mean, it's just my personality. Um, yeah, it's very weird, Joey. It's very weird. Um, yeah, well, sometimes it's you know why the notifications don't go off. The notifications don't go off because you don't have the bell black. That little bell when you subscribe to people, it has to be black. That means you get all notifications. When it's white or clear, you only get some of the notifications. So that's a little trick. Um, Anthony, I told you that you when you subscribe to somebody, you have to uh, make sure that that bell is black, or else you won't get all the notifications. So it is what it is. Anyway, very strange, very strange. So I just want to make sure I said hello to everybody. Let me just read something real quick. Hold on a second, guys. All right. I just want to make sure that I said hello to everybody. I honestly, Big Bones, how are you, buddy? How are you, Big Bones? I'm just seeing you now. How you doing, pal? I hope everybody's having a good evening. I'm just checking to see and make sure I said hello to everybody. So, listen, guys, if you have any suggestions, I'm open to suggestions. I'm always open to suggestions. I take it as constructive criticism. If you want to tell me something I'm doing sucks, that's fine. you know, I can take it, believe me. I always take everything as constructive criticism because that's how you learn. That's the only way you learn, you know. And jealousy can really, really ruin things. It really can. So it really doesn't. It's not beneficial to be jealous. It's not gonna. It's not gonna serve anything positive for you at all. Actually, you should congratulate the person that is successful and learn from that person, him or her. Whatever you can. Like I said, and I know that there is a lot of jealousy on YouTube. I know it. Listen, if there's jealousy in the streets, right, off of YouTube, of course there's going to be jealousy on YouTube. It'd probably be worse, you know. What link can't you drop? Well, um, what I did was I just went into this before about the shorts. So I'm doing something with the shorts, not my shows, but you can do that. You can take certain segments of your show and clip them and make them to 10 seconds. When you're doing a short, they recommend them being 10 seconds. And the title is very important. So, but that's that can be done. Yeah, Anthony does a good show on wine. His specialty is wine. It's nice that you sub to the show, but you can do that. Yeah. Well, listen, I we so Kyle, what'd you think of it? What'd you think of the deer short and the red peppers? The red peppers went up to 4,000 views in 2 days. The deer went to 5,000 views in 1 day. 1 day. Within 20 minutes that I posted that short of the deer, it went to 1,800 views in 20 minutes. So, like I said, it's experimenting. That may not always be, it depends. It depends on a lot, the factors that I spoke about. You know. Yeah, Johnny had asked me if it was the same deer. Johnny, to be honest with you, it's the same deer. It's not different deers. It's not different deers. Well, there's a lot of deer in the town that I work in. I mean, they're all over the place. They'll walk in front of your car, just mosey along, right along, real nice and cozy, walking along the front of your car like you're not even there, you know? And you got to watch up there where I work because sometimes they dart out in front of the car. And the last thing I want to do is hit one, you know? They did. Well, Joey, let me tell you something. Okay. You're right. You're right. They do bring in subs. And I'll tell you what happened to me yesterday. Yesterday, I had 191 listeners, and then I went up to 200. And when I put the short up of the deer, so in 1 day, I gained 30, 39 listeners in 1 day. But the thing is, Joey, the thing is that you can get listeners, get subs, but they have to stay with your channel. That's the most important thing. They have to stay with your channel. They may not like your channel. They're seeing a short, but they may like you, they may not like you. So you have to take that into consideration too. When you're a host of a show, you have to take into consideration that your show may not be or is not for everyone. That you can't say to yourself, "Oh, gee, I'm not," you know, this person I'm sub to me, this person I'm sub to me. Well, your show may not be for them. I may not be for everybody. You know, so you have to realize that when you're doing something. When you're in the entertainment, this is kind of like you're in the entertainment industry. You're entertaining to a certain degree, so you have to be able to take the rejection. You know. Yeah, Kyle, that's good. A lot of people, when I'm at work and I can't listen, I can't. The English show goes on 2:45, so if I'm working, I'll usually put the phone down in on the seat of the truck, and listen to a show. And then if I stop at a red light, maybe I'll do a quick, a message in the chat. But a lot of times when I'm working, I'll listen. I'll listen. Well, he's the only one really that's 2:45. He's really the only one, and that I listen to at 2:45, unless Vinny does a show in between there, because he doesn't have a set schedule. But that's what I do, and a lot of people do that. They're at work or they work at home, and they just listen. And that's good too. It gives the content creator, the host, the watch hours. You don't have to converse in the chat, but it's beneficial to the content creators. Let me just read this. Well, you saw one now, JJ. You saw the deer come up to me, and she wasn't afraid. I'm a regular Dr. Doolittle. I just am. She was a female deer, and she came right up to me. I did, Joey. I said it before. I had a bag of Fritos. I gave her a Frito. I wish I had a banana for her, but she ate the Frito. She liked it, and then she went her merry way. So she was cute. I would really be upset if I hit one of them. Not only would it destroy them, but it would destroy my car. They can do some serious damage. So that's the last thing you want to do is hit a deer. That's why you got where I work at nighttime. Sometimes in the rains it gets really really foggy. I have to watch because they'll dart right out in front of the car. JJ, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go into a show and tell him what's that going to accomplish. I'll talk to him on the phone tomorrow. That's not going to accomplish anything. We're going to discuss this further, though. We're going to discuss this further. It's very, very unusual. I find it to be very unusual. But who knows? Who knows what the circumstances were why he did that? And I don't know. I have no idea. But then again, on the other hand, I did something strange too, right? I did something strange too. I came on at 9:30. I'd never come on at 9:30. Never. This was the first time since I've been doing my show. You know, so I did something out of the ordinary as well. So two people did something out of the unordinary. Yeah, two people did something out of the unordinary. Unordinary. I can't get the word out. Out of the ordinary. That's it. So that's it, guys. I didn't expect to stay on this long. I want to thank you all for joining me, and that's the direction that I'm going to be heading. I mean, take the journey with me. I always tell people, I always tell them, come over, check the show. If you like the show, then you can become a listener. If you don't like the show, you don't become a listener. It's up to the individuals. So if you want to take the journey with me, that's fine. You're more than welcome to stay with me. I enjoy your company. I enjoy all my listeners. And when I was saying this morning on the live car that when I hit 6 months, I won't be as green as I am now with YouTube. You know, and that's coming up. I mean, it's going to be 5 months in like 2 weeks. Well, thank you, Carol. I appreciate that. I have to tell you something. Somebody mentioned something to me this morning. Let me think for a second. I'm not going to say their name, but somebody brought out a very good point to me, something that I didn't realize, because, of course, I perceive myself differently than my audience perceives me. And they said to me, Ralph, your show is unique. And what they were referring to was all the special effects that I have in my show. Now, I do things differently than other content creators, and I'm not talking about the circle that I'm involved in. I'm talking about them and other content creators outside of the alliance. I do things different because, and the special effects and all those things that I put into my show are things that I'm used to doing and have done for many years before I even came on the scene of YouTube. I've been into photography since I'm 11 years old. I won't tell you how many years that is. I had my own videotaping business. I know about camera angles. I know about lighting. I know about special effects. I know about a lot of things. I've been working on now. I'm not tooting my horn. I'm just telling you. I've been working on the computer for 30 years. I have software programs that do special effects. So I incorporate all those things into my show because those are things that I've done through the years. And it's just me. But again, I'll say this, and I've said this at least 15 to 20 times. You don't need those things. You don't need those things to do a show. I do them because I've done them before and have been doing them. I did a podcast show 19 years ago before any of these content creators were even around doing this stuff. When YouTube wasn't even invented yet, 18, 19 years ago. I had my own podcast show. At that time, it was only audio. So this is nothing new to me. It's just a different format now that it's how it's done. You understand what I'm saying? So that's just me. That's my trademark. What you see in my shows are my trademark. All the special effects and all. And I talked about this morning with StreamYard and what I use, the platform that I use for my show. Now, right now, I'm on StreamYard, but I'm discontinuing StreamYard because StreamYard cannot do the things that I want it to do. It's not at the level that I'm at. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not that StreamYard is, I'm not putting StreamYard down. It's a very good program for people who are not proficient really that much in the computer or in how to do this. So it's very good for that. It's very user friendly, but it's not on the level that I want to be at. You know what I'm saying? In other words, StreamYard is here and I'm up here. So OBS, which I use, which is free, allows me to do so many other things that StreamYard could never ever do. Like, for example, the imitation that I did at Theme Do, where I'm actually in his house. Well, StreamYard can't do that, but OBS can. And you have to know how to do that. So I have the tech savvy knowledge to know how to do that because I've been doing this for years. Because, I've put short films together. I've edited special effects. Do you know what a dissolve is? Do you know what a wipe is? You probably know what a fade is, but those are all special effects. But again, you don't need those things because the most important thing of doing a show is the person's and the host personality. That's as important. You can be behind a blank wall and do a show, and it's the personality that shines. You could have no content whatsoever and have the personality and captivate your audience. That's the point that I'm trying to make, is that I'm different because I'm on a different level and been on that level for many years. And some people don't know how to, some people don't or can't grasp that. And I said that anybody, and I said to Tammy, who is just going to begin using StreamYard, I told Tammy or any of you guys that if you need any help with StreamYard, I'd be more than happy because I know StreamYard. OBS is a different story. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend you starting out with StreamYard first if you're a content creator and you want to use StreamYard. I wouldn't recommend going out to OBS right now because when you open up the screen, you're going to be very intimidated. Not to say that I'm not. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. It's it could be very intimidating. Uh, you open up the screen and say, "What the hell is this?" But it's. I would recommend using Streamyard to start out with if you're a content creator, because again, it's very, very user friendly, and they made it simple for. How could I say? I don't want to say the average person. They just made it very simple to use the way they wrote the program. Uh, so I would recommend it, and that's my professional uh, advice. Okay, that's my professional advice. YouTube, well, YouTube, I can't really tell you too much about because I'm learning about YouTube. I'm green with YouTube. That's why I confer with Tommy and Thindu and now Vinny, who have the most experience in YouTube more than I do. They could tell me the ins and outs and what to look for, what not to look for, what to do, what not to do, where to go and where not to go. So I rely on them because I'm green. They have a backstory. My history with YouTube starts the day that I started my first live and moving forward up until today. That's where my history with YouTube starts, not something that happened, before I came on the scene. So I just wanted to uh, the stupid comedy. You use StreamYard. Do you like it? Do you find that yeah, it's free. That's awesome. Well, StreamYard is free, but it's limited to what you can do. That's another thing too. You're paying for this. You're paying. Um, I don't know what it is. 24, and then 49, and 69, and 109. The more you pay, the more it does, and the more guests you can have on. Of course, in order to acquire those different things, you got to buy their packages. A monthly subscription. OBS is free. OBS is free. OBS does thousands of things different than StreamYard does, and StreamYard will never be able to do the things that OBS does, and will never surpass OBS. That's my opinion, my professional opinion. And but for StreamYard, um, yeah. Well, you see, with StreamYard, I mean, I can't with StreamYard. I can't. See, StreamYard has looped music. Okay, in other words, you play the same song over and over again. It's looped. Whereas with OBS, I can play a song for hours in the background. So when I'm doing a show and I have background music, if I was on StreamYard, I wouldn't be able to do that. But with OBS, I can have the song play forever, for hours. And StreamYard doesn't do that. StreamYard's green screening is horrible. I'm on StreamYard right now. This virtual background looks good because of the lighting that I have. But you can't do video backgrounds with StreamYard. When I do my shows with OBS, now I'm getting technical, and I have the fireplace in the background and the rain is coming down. You can't do that with StreamYard. You can only do that with OBS. Okay, so you there's a lot of things that you just can't do. So again, I would recommend anybody that's starting out to use StreamYard. Many content creators use StreamYard. They start out with StreamYard. And then if you feel comfortable, then you go over to OBS. There's a lot of instructional videos on how to use StreamYard. There's a lot of instructional videos on how to use OBS. So I would recommend, or you can ask me about StreamYard if you have any questions on how to do certain things, or you could ask Tommy, or yeah, Tommy. But I'd be more than happy to help you out. Anybody that needs any help in that in the area of technical issues. Uh, Listen, when I first came on, I did 26 tests on OBS because my shows were lagging. They were, freezing, and it was because my internet speed was not up to the strength of OBS. That's another thing. OBS takes a lot of computer, a lot of uses a lot of CPU. I don't want to get too technical into this now, but anyway, if you need any help with StreamYard, I'd be more than happy. Tammy's using it now, and I told Tammy, she's not in the chat right now. She's not in the parlor, but I told Tammy today that if she needed any help, I'd be more than happy to help her. Yeah, that's right. Stupid comedy will. It will. You can do so many things with OBS. It's unbelievable the things that it does. And I see me. I want a touch of professionalism in my shows. That's me. I want a touch of professionalism in my shows, and I'm unique. I'm unique. Somebody said to me today. One of my listeners said to me today that I'm unique. I'm unique with my shows and those special effects, because there's a lot of other people that don't do that. So I want a touch of professionalism in my shows. You're not coming to my show because of the special effects. You're coming to my show because of me, the host, and the content, because of my personality. Those special effects are just added. Those are just, because that's me. That's the background I come from. So I want you to understand that because I never explained that to anybody, because I never really had the need to. And I coined the frame, bells and whistles, and that's exactly what it is. But you don't need that. You don't need that. Chris, so OBS costs absolutely nothing, absolutely free. I don't know how they do it. They must have some kind of funding, but it's absolutely free to download it and to use their platform. I will tell you this: you have to have a good computer, and you have to have a good laptop, and you have to have a good internet connection with good speed. So there's a lot of variables there. It is free. And that's it can be a bit intimidating uh, to someone who is not really you got to remember, see too, a lot of some content creators are technical savvy, and a lot of them are not. So uh, there's a lot of instructional videos on how to use these platforms. You have to be willing to put the time in and how to learn them if you're going to learn them. Um, I strongly recommend, on my professional advice, I strongly recommend any content creator or anybody that wants to start a channel or wants uh, to use StreamYard, to start off with StreamYard, because it's extremely, extremely user friendly. It can be a little intimidating to someone that doesn't know anything about how to use it, but it's a lot better than OBS. You would if you have no experience, you could be very intimidated with OBS. Yeah, Chris, absolutely. Ask me any questions you like. Um, I was even thinking about doing an instructional video for StreamYard, to help people out. But there's so many instructional videos and tutorials on StreamYard that you have to be willing to put the time in to learn it. It's not hard to learn. It's not hard to learn. Don't be intimidated by it. OBS, you might you might be intimidated by it a little bit, but don't be intimidated. Don't get discouraged. I mean, you need a platform to do your show. What the heck, Evan? You need a platform to do your show. You can't do a show, unless you have. Well, you can do it without StreamYard. I think you could do it with YouTube, but you do need one of those platforms. How did I get into the technical thing here? But if you have any questions, yes, Gianni, you can edit with StreamYard. Yes, yes, I would recommend it for you. Albanian, if you enjoy learning new programs, it's great. That's great. You have to be willing to put the time in and want to learn it. And then after a while, it gets to be you get used to it, and it's like nothing, you know. But when you open up something new, how you're intimidated. I remember when the very first time I went on the computer 30 years ago. Was it 30 years ago? 1985. What's that? 37 years ago. I sat down at the computer at that time and I said to myself, how the hell am I ever going to learn this? I was so intimidated by the computer. And at that time, the computers were huge. There was no color monitors. It was all green. And I was intimidated. So, and little by little, I started working with it and getting more acclimated with it and learning it. And then finally, that intimidation went away. So, that intimidation will go away in time. So, don't be intimidated because any anybody can learn it. You have to be willing to put the time in, and be motivated. And you have to be able to enjoy it too. See, these things that I do, I enjoy. The final outcome of when I do my shows, when I do when I do the special effects, when I put clips together and all that, the final outcome, the satisfaction I get is the final product of the show, and then my listeners enjoying it. That's the satisfaction. That's the fun and the satisfaction that I get out of doing that. You know, that's what makes me happy. You know, that that's what makes me happy. Now that may be different with everybody else. You know, those things are fun for me. They're fun. If they weren't fun, I wouldn't be doing them. Believe me, I got too much on my plate now. So I again, I just um, I don't want to sound like I'm tooting my. Wait, who's this? I don't want to sound like I'm tooting my horn, but I have over 30 years experience doing this. So I can consider myself as a professional. I had my own videotaping business on top of my regular career, and that was doing shooting weddings, shooting parties, shooting sweet 16s. So I had to do a lot of editing, put in special effects, put in titles for the bride and groom and for the people. So that's the kind of background that I come from. I come from partially a background from entertainment. Uh, I've done acting. I've done independent films. I've been off Broadway. So I've done a lot of things, and I'm still young. So I have a lot of experience, uh, and again, I'm not tuning my own horn. I'm just letting you know my background because there's no background history of me on my Wise Up show. There's no biography of Ralph. If I don't tell you these things, you're never going to know them, right? So now my listeners know a little bit about me and my background. So that's the background that I have and have had for many years. And once you've been doing that for all those years, it's hard for you to do something else that's not up to par to what you've been doing. StreamYard to me is not up to par from what I'm used to doing. OBS is. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not putting it down, but it's not me. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, listen, I can tell you a lot of. I can be very helpful in the area of if you have questions with StreamYard or anything technical. I do, uh, and I'm always willing to share that. I mean, it doesn't cost anything to help somebody out. And us as content creators in the alliance that I'm in, we help one another out. We help each other out as content creators. We help build up everyone else's show, in our alliance. You know, that's just the way we all think alike. That's why we have an alliance. So helping somebody is not a problem. If anybody has any technical issues or technical questions. I could try to answer them the best that I possibly can. Based on the experience that I have. It doesn't cost anything, but there are a lot of tutorials to help you. They're hold on a second. Technology. I started out with photography. I started out with taking stills. From stills, I went to movie film. From movie film, I went to video. Then from VHS to Super VHS to digital, and now it's on SD card. So I've seen the progression of technology through the years, and it's remarkable, absolutely remarkable. I don't use Canva for my thumbnails. I use Photoshop for all my thumbnails. I don't use Canva. I don't pay for any of that. Well, I just a lot of the content creators use Canva. Pro Tools is okay. Pro Tools is okay. If you don't have Photoshop, Pro Tools is okay. There's a lot of see, I can't advise you on that because I use Photoshop. But I do know about Pro Tools, and Pro Tools is okay. I know about Canva. And it depends what you want to do. But Pro Tools is not bad. Stupid comedy. But a lot of the content creators use Canva. Is it Canva? Yeah, it's Canva. I use Photoshop because I've been using Photoshop for years. Because I do photo restorations too. I'll correct people's photos from. That's another thing. I don't even want to go into that. But anyway, Pro Tools is good. Logic from Apple. Okay. Yep. JJ, what's uplifting content? What is that? I see a link in here for uplifting content. Whose link is that? Build the Guild Fun Wine. Oh, that's Anthony. Okay, that's Anthony. But who is uplifting content? Oh, TT. Okay. Yeah, TT's doing very well with her channel. I recommend anybody that hasn't subscribed. I recommend anybody who hasn't subscribed to any of these links that are in here to subscribe to them. They're all very good. And TT right now is doing very well. She's got a great channel that's very uplifting and positive. And JJ has become the second TT because she's very proficient at. No, JJ, I'm not going carousing tonight. It's a Wednesday night. I'm shot. Oh my God. Am I going carousing tonight? No. Yeah, Anthony said it was just something that happened. No big deal. It's no big deal. It isn't. It isn't. I was kind of a little annoyed, though. I was. I got to admit this, and I got to be honest. I was a little annoyed. I was a little annoyed. It's no big deal. You're right. But I was a little bit. Yes, it's still live, Gina. I'm still here. Oh my God, Gina, I misconfuse you, Gina, all the time. You're too funny. I'm still here. See, how long have I been on? An hour and a half, I think. All right, guys. Well, I hope I helped you out in the technical area. I mean, if you need any help, oh, wait a minute, hold on a second. You know what? You know what I could do? Hold on a minute, guys. Don't. Let me just see something here. Where is it at? Let's see. I thought I saved this. Let's Let's see. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere, guys. Let's see. Banners. Oh, okay. Wait, here it is. That's my email address. Okay. Ralph Mucci 54 at gmail.com. So if anybody wants to email me, if they have any questions or anything, you can email me at that email address. And I'll be more than happy to help you out if I can. Sometimes I'll be able to help you out. Sometimes I won't be able to help you out. Listen, I don't have the answers for everything. And if I did, I would be God. So I'm not a know-it-all. I certainly don't have my nose up in the air and walking around like this, like I'm better than anybody else, because I put my pants on the same way that you do. And that's another thing too that I mentioned in my show this morning, real quick. Some of these content creators, nobody in our circle, but some of these content creators, man, they let this go to their head like they're some kind of a superstar or something. This is YouTube. You're not Johnny Carson. You're not Merv Griffin. You're not Dave Letterman. You know what I'm saying? They let it go to their head. Come on, get back down to earth. Get back down to earth. Unbelievable. All right, Gerard. You have a good night. Thanks for joining me. All right, guys. That's my email address. If you have any questions, you can always email me. And like I said, I'd be more than happy to try to help you. I don't have the answers for everything, but I will try if I can. And that's it. That's it for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for joining me on this late show. I don't think I'm ever going to do a show this late again. I think I'm going to stick to my 7 o'clock Sunday time slot. So I think this will be the first and last time that I'll do a show this late. I didn't expect everybody to be up, to be honest with you. But you guys will have a good evening. And thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your support. And if you have any suggestions about the show, please, you can even email me. Listen, listeners are important because you guys are the ones that are watching me, right? So if you have any, I'm not, like I said, I'm not closed-minded. I'm open-minded. I don't take, I take it as constructive criticism, and that's the way it should be taken. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, like Ralph, why don't you do this, or Ralph, you should do this, or Ralph, I'll listen. All right, guys, you all have a good night. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it, and thank you for your support. And I'll probably see you tomorrow morning at 9:30, quarter to 10. You guys will have a good night. God bless. Stay well. And God willing, I'll see you tomorrow.